Straight all day.
You are now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all under the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is what to do when nothing is working. Now I'll get into explaining where that comes from in a second, but before we do that, let me tell everybody I have a daily motivation text message that I send out free of charge every single morning. Everyone who's in my text community, if you would like to receive that message, guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point, text me at my number. It is 305-384-6894. Every day when I send that out, you'll be getting it. Number two, my next live event, Work on Your Game Live, is happening February 3rd and 4th, 2022 here in sunny, warm Miami, Florida, where we're going to be helping you, number one, perform at a higher level in your business. Number two, make sure your performance is consistent, which means your results, which is the third part, producing that ROI, making sure those results are as consistent as your performance. If you go to the page, workonyourgame.live, and the page is still active, that means you can still get a ticket. If that page becomes not active and it defaults to a letting you know that tickets are no longer available, then tickets are no longer available. But go to workonyourgame.live. That's where you can get your ticket to that event taking place February 3rd and 4th. You need to be in the room for that event. All right, be in the room for that event, and let's stop playing around out here. Stop playing around with your business. Stop playing around with your career. Number three, if you would like to go deeper with me, and anyone who's listening to this show, you should be wanting to go deeper into the game that we are giving you here at Work on Your Game. Here's what you do. Go to Work on Your Game University. That's workonyourgameuniversity.com is that website. That's where you can get access to all of the courses that I have created. Courses on mindset, on strategy, on business building, on time control, on selling yourself. All of those are at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Also there, if you would like to be coached directly by me, there's a button there and there's an opportunity for you to do that as well. You can get on a call with me. We can talk about what that looks like and how it would work. Again, that's at the university, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Links to everything I said are down below in the show notes, or just rewind this and type it into your browser. Workonyourgame.live, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Pretty easy to remember. So now let's get into the topic. Topic again today is what to do when nothing is working. What I'm going to share here today are these points are your antidote for the frustration that is inevitable when you feel like you're doing all the stuff that you need to be doing, or at least you're trying to do the stuff, yet things are not kind of turning over in your favor. I want you all to first understand that this happens to everybody. No one is immune to this. I don't care how successful the person, how much money they have, how many products they've sold, how many followers they got on social media, how whatever you think they are that might put them above you or above anybody else. Everybody deals with these times when things are simply not working the way that they want them to work. What do you do in this situation? I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. Let's get to it. Point number one. Topic again today is what to do when nothing is working. Number one, keep moving. This is the first thing you have to do, is keep moving. The worst thing you can give to a lack of progress is time and contemplation of the lack of progress. It's the same way that when you're sick and you have a bug or a virus in your stomach, worst thing you can do is give it all different types of food, because all it's going to do is make the virus or the bug get worse, and it's just going to make your stomach feel worse. What you need to do is flush it out by giving yourself a whole bunch of water, maybe some fruits and vegetables, and just get rid of it. Not any other kinds of food, especially no processed stuff. Sitting around doing nothing when nothing is up, because you're already in a situation of nothing working, all that does is exacerbate the problem. Here's where I usually tell you to make a plan and execute the plan. But at this point, listen, it doesn't even have to be plan based if nothing's working. Massive action, when you at least have some idea of what could work, is better than sitting around and dwelling in stagnation. Now, if you have a plan and you can execute on the plan, that's even better. But even if you don't have a plan, it's better to just take massive action on some hypotheses or theories of what you think might work, rather than sitting around and doing nothing. All right, do something and be active. I heard someone call this the concept of throwing grenades at your problems. When nothing's working, just throw grenades. And throwing a grenade just means you blow everything up. You just cause all kinds of disruption, and you just make something happen when nothing has been happening. It's kind of like if you go to a swimming pool, like yesterday morning, for example, not when you're listening to this, but from when I was recording this, it was no wind, no breeze in Miami, and I go outside and I run early in the morning. So I finished my run and I was by the swimming pool at my building getting some water from the water fountain, and the pool was there, and I just noticed that the water was so still. It was just completely flat. And throwing a grenade at a situation would be like somebody doing a cannonball into that pool, and all of a sudden there's all kind of waves and ripples and all the water's all moving around just because somebody did a cannonball into the pool. That's what I'm telling you to do to your situation of nothing working, is just throw a grenade at it, and let's just see, maybe something will happen from that. Maybe nothing will happen, but it's better than you sitting around and just giving time to the fact that nothing's working. That's what it means to throw a grenade. So it's better to blow things up and see what happens rather than sitting around and let things just basically rust out on you. Moving on to point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is what to do when nothing is working. Number 2, stop trying to do everything by yourself. Now, if you listen to this show on a consistent basis, especially over the last year, how many times have you heard me tell you this, or some form of this very point right here? Stop trying to do everything by yourself. And notice the key word there. Key word is not yourself. The key word is trying. And the reason why that's the key word is because I have yet to meet a human being who is good at everything. I definitely have not met any human beings who are good at doing everything that you need for your business or your career. I don't care if you work at a job or you own the company. Nobody's good at everything that you need to move yourself forward. So if you're doing everything by yourself, you're not actually doing it, you're trying to do it. Because I guarantee you're running up against some inefficiencies that are sourced by you because you have yourself in charge of jobs that you are simply unqualified to be doing. Usually when nothing is working is because you are trying to do things on your own, and you have simply run out of good ideas, you run out of talent, you run out of skill in certain areas, yet you keep trying to make this thing work. In other words, you're banging your head against a stone wall at something that you shouldn't be doing because you ain't good at it. Simple as that. When nothing is working is because you are enrolled in a job that you should not be doing. So when I say good ideas, and I mean ideas, I mean ideas that actually produce the results that you want. Okay, so I don't mean a good idea based on just you calling it a good idea. I mean a good idea meaning good means it produces the actual outcome that you want. Remember what we talked about, the difference between being right and being accurate? All right, this is what I mean. All right, so that episode was episode 2167. Difference between being right and being accurate. Being right means you feel good about what you're saying. Being accurate means what you're saying actually produces the outcome that you want. And many human beings have the affliction of focusing on being right over ever asking themselves, is what I'm saying actually accurate? And usually, let me not even say usually, let me take that qualifier out. Definitely, anytime that you are putting yourself 100% in charge of every single job that needs to be done in your career or your business, you are dealing with some inefficiencies and inaccuracies, because I just know that you ain't good at everything. So if you're doing everything, there's something that ain't being done as well as it could be being done. You get what I'm saying here? So if your ideas are not getting you the results that you want, it's probably because you have reached the limits, the capacity of what you can do on your own in that particular area. Okay, so if you're a person who, somebody had texted me the other day and I was asking them what's one of your challenges, and they said, well, I want to lose weight. And this is not some 16-year-old. This is a person who's over the age of 30 talking about they want to lose weight. And I said, how long has that been a challenge? They said, well, it's been a challenge for too long. So let's just say that means at least a year. It's probably been a decade, but let's just say it's been at least a year. And what this person needs to understand is that they've probably been the one in charge of them losing weight for the last year or 10 years, and that's the reason why it's not working, which means they need to fire themselves from that job and need to put somebody else on the gig of getting them in shape, because clearly them being in charge ain't working. You get what I'm saying? I talked about this in episode 2084, when and how to fire yourself. Many of you who are listening to me right now need to fire yourself from like 10 things that you're doing. And stop doing them and take yourself completely off the job because you are not good at it. And that's my, I will just say that's my opinion, but let me give you some reasons why I can give you that opinion. That's not actually an opinion, it's more of a truth. The reason why I know that you're not good at it, because let's look at your results. Remember what business we're in, folks. We're in a results-based business. So if you're a person who's been trying to lose weight for over a year, well, here's the reason why you've been trying to lose weight for over a year, because you're in charge of you losing weight and you don't know what the hell you're doing. So you need to hire yourself a personal trainer. That's why you haven't been able to do it. That's why you've been failing at it for so long, because you're trying to do something that you ain't good at. Simple as that. And there was an example that I wanted to give you. There was somebody, and this has happened more than once. And I've given this example more than once, and I'll keep giving this example because it keeps happening, is entrepreneurs who decide to do their own, any type of graphic work, whether that's web design, designing their own sales funnels, making their own logos, and they really, really suck. Any of you use Instagram or Facebook, you see entrepreneurs and professionals posting graphics that they've created and they just look like complete shit, complete garbage. That's because they have yet to fire themselves from jobs that they shouldn't be doing. I don't care that there are apps that allow you to make your own graphics. Just because there's an app that allows you to make your own graphic doesn't mean you should do it, okay? Some of you need to fire yourselves from jobs that you simply suck at. And listen, here's how you know that you suck at a job. What kind of results are you producing when you do it yourself? See, the DIY economy, for lack of a better term, is strong and healthy when it comes to entrepreneurship. You can be an entrepreneur right now. You can become an entrepreneur right now through the internet, right off your phone, without getting up from your couch. And pretty much everything that you need in order to create stuff and sell it and put it out into the world, you can access through your phone, and much of it you don't even need to spend a single dime to do so. That does not mean you should take advantage of all of that opportunity. Some things you should invest in so that they actually look better than what, or they look better, or they produce better results than what you would do on your own. Now, you see these books behind me on this bookshelf? And any of you who's watching this on video, you see these books behind me on this bookshelf and these magazines behind me? All of these were professionally designed. That's why I got them on display behind me. If they look like shit, like how some of you entrepreneurs' graphics look like, I wouldn't have them front facing so that people could see them, because that wouldn't look good for me. All right, and many of you need to fire yourselves from a bunch of jobs. Many of you, and I'm just using that as an example, but there are a bunch of jobs you need to get yourself off of. When things are not working for you, one of the main reasons is because you are the one in charge of the job and you suck. Everybody clear on that? I don't know how much more plainly I can say it. You do not need to, ladies and gentlemen, outwork your own problems. If your ideas are not getting you the results you want, it's because you have reached the capacity of your skill in that area. But guess what? There are other human beings on the planet, there are 8 billion of us out here, who have skill that you don't have. And that's why you need to get involved with those people. You need to collaborate with those people and let them fill in the blanks of what you lack. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with you being deficient in a skill. What you need to do is just go find somebody who is not deficient in that skill. It's as simple as that. Somebody who is sufficient. All right, do not outwork your problems. It's a common mistake that many people make, especially in the Western world, especially in the United States. And this common mistake is based on false teachings that many of us have been taught our entire lives, that you just have to hard work your way through every problem that you have. All right, this is a garbage idea and it does not work. How many of you know hardworking people who don't have anywhere close to the kind of results that you would want in your life? And unfortunately, there are many so-called experts who continue to preach this bullshit that you just need to work harder and believe in yourself more and have faith and everything's going to work out even though nothing's working right now. No, you don't. What you need to do is, yes, you can believe in yourself, but believe in the fact that you don't know what you're doing, and believe in the fact that somebody else does. That's what you need to believe in if you want to believe in something. Okay, so make sure you're not listening to these people preaching this nonsense that makes you feel good but does not help you do good. And that's something that you should keep in mind. Use it as a simple litmus test. When people are talking to you, someone who is allegedly an expert, are they telling you things that make you feel good, or are they telling you things that are going to help you do good? And there's a big difference between the two. If nothing is working for you in a certain area of your life, career, business, whatever, go get some insights and ideas from a source outside of yourself. This is a very simple concept. Listen, I didn't even tell you to pay for it. You go get it off YouTube. Go get it off a podcast. Go get it off a blog. Go get it off of, I guess you could even say, Instagram. Go get some insights and ideas. Now, I'm not saying that's the whole thing, but you get some insights and ideas from somebody who's not you. And when that person gives you an idea that helps you do good, but maybe not necessarily make you feel good, then you need to go deeper into that person's world and say, wait, what else can this person teach me? What does this person have? If the free stuff is better than everything that I've tried for the last 5 years, and they just gave me something that took 2 minutes, I wonder what it would take. I wonder what I would get if I actually invested in myself. Interesting concept, right? It's a simple concept, but interesting for some people because you never thought of it like this before. And this is hard for many people to do because you've been taught your entire life that you're supposed to do everything by yourself. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is what to do when nothing is working. Number 3, revisit the process that you followed when things actually were working for you. When things were working in your favor, what were you doing then versus what you're doing now? In some area of your life, when you had things working or you have things working, what are you doing in that area compared to what you're doing in this area? If you're a person who has a lot of money, but you're out of shape, ask yourself, all right, how'd you make a lot of money? How'd you get to the point that you had a lot of money? What are your habits when it comes to money versus your habits when it comes to your fitness? I guarantee you'll notice some stark differences very quickly. It is the other way around. You're in great shape, but you don't have a lot of money. What are you doing when it comes to your fitness that you're not doing when it comes to your money? You'll notice some things. And you can swap in any areas of your life right here. What are the similarities and what are the differences? Now, sometimes this might not work because the ground may have just shifted under your feet in some areas, and maybe that's why you are in the position that you're in right now. Maybe things were working 6 months ago, but they're not now because things have changed. So this might not always work, but it's an option. Other times, this is exactly what you need because maybe you just lost sight of what actually worked for you. Because when your formula is working, you shouldn't change it. This option requires that you actually have a period in your life when things were indeed working. So if you've never had a period in your life when things were working, or you don't have an area of your life that you're extremely proud of your progress, then this won't work. So if you haven't had that yet, then this won't work. But if this option does not apply to you, just go back to point number 2. But sometimes you just need to return to the basics, and that's exactly what many people need, just a return to the basics. Our big human brains make us think that things need to be much more complex than they actually need to be, and it's the basics that usually get us into momentum in the first place, and it's something stupid that we do, overthinking, that causes us to lose our own momentum, and that's why you got to get back to the basics. That said, let's recap today's class, which is what to do when nothing is working. This is your antidote for the frustration that is inevitable when you feel like you're doing all the right stuff, yet you're not getting the ROI. Number 1, keep moving. Worst thing you can give to a lack of progress is time and contemplation of that lack of progress. Keep moving, throw grenades at the problem, see if you can just make something happen, even if it doesn't work or nothing's working already. So what do you have to lose? Number 2, stop trying to do everything by yourself. Usually when nothing is working is because you have reached the limit of your abilities in that particular space, and you need to fire yourself from certain jobs and give someone else a job. If you're a person who's out of shape and you've been trying to get in shape for a year or more, that's because you are in charge of you getting in shape and you are a terrible practitioner. So you need to fire yourself and hire someone who can actually help you get in shape because you can't. All right, that's why you've been failing at it for so long. Number 3, revisit the process that you followed when things were actually working for you. Sometimes this might not work because the ground has shifted underneath your feet, and maybe that's why the situation has changed. But other times, you just need to get back to the basics. You need to look at the similarities of what you're doing in one area that's working versus the area that's not working, or what you were doing in the area that's now not working, but a year ago or 5 years ago, it was working. What were you doing then that you're not doing now? Not usually, let me just say often, that can at least get you on the path to getting your momentum back. And usually when we create momentum is because we are focused on the basics, the fundamentals, not the fancy stuff, not the extra stuff, but the basic stuff. And one of the biggest challenges for human beings is because our brains are so big, we all think we're so damn smart that we don't focus on the basics, and that's exactly what gets us off track in the first place. With that said, text me to get my daily motivation. My number is 305-384-6894. Get your ticket to Work on Your Game Live by going to workonyourgame.live. As long as the page is still up, you can still get a ticket. But when that page goes down, it's over. You cannot get a ticket anymore. And number 3, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Get access to all of my courses and start going deeper into the Work on Your Game world. Listening to podcasts can take you to a certain point, but then there's another point that you need to get to, another place you need to jump off at. That's at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Stop paying college tuition. They're robbing you anyway. All that said, work on your game. Dre all day.